Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jeremy here at ExtremeWeatherTracker.com, updating your tropical weather at 12:40 p.m. on August the 10th, 2011. A couple things we want to talk about here in the tropical Atlantic. The first, we have a tropical wave currently just to the west of the Lesser Antilles Islands, although no development is expected with this system. We also have on the edge of our screen here a large, well-defined tropical wave that has been dubbed 92L by the National Hurricane Center, and this is moving off to the west-northwest at about 10 to 15 miles per hour, so it definitely is something that we need to watch over the next few days. Also, on the satellite imagery, you can also see the remnants of Emily, located just here in the north central Atlantic, and actually the lower end of this, the southern end of this convection, looks like it's actually splitting off from this trough and trying to sneak back around this high pressure ridge and possibly impacting the Bahamas again later this week. Is something we'll have to keep an eye on, although chances at this time are slim. The National Hurricane Center is giving this a 10% chance regenerating into a tropical cyclone sometime over the next few days. So this is something we'll have to watch, although the odds are pretty long of this redeveloping. We'll have to keep an eye on it. I want to go, more importantly, I want to check out the floater. This is the floater for the Invest 92L, and you can see the broad area of circulation in this area here, center somewhere in here, and you can see the convection located off to the north and the west of the system, and also some convection starting to fire on the east side. So we have two separate blobs, if you will, of convection centered around this broad area of cyclonic turning. So definitely this needs to tighten up and get a little bit better organized over the next few days, and it should as it moves to the west-northwest at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. The only thing hindering development this time is probably this area of dry air just to the north of and the west of this. As you can see, so there's a bit of dry air getting drawn into the system. So we'll have to see how this affects it and if this keeps it weak over the next few days as it moves on off to the west-northwest and into an area that's possibly a little more favorable for development. Now I'll show you these are the model tracks for Invest 92L. The center located here just to the southwest of the Cape Verde Islands, and they're in fairly good agreement for probably the first 3 days as we take it off to the west-northwest, just to the north and east of the Lesser Antilles Islands here. And after that, some of the tracks favor a more southerly direction, and then some of the tracks actually feel that this the trough coming off the east coast will be a bit deeper and actually pull this on out and recurve it before affecting any landmass rather, other than perhaps Bermuda located here. But Bermuda looks to be dead in the bullseye for this thing. We'll have to see if the model tracks shift a little further west and see if this ridging, this Bermuda high, actually builds back in a little stronger and forces this thing on a more westerly route, possibly affecting the east coast of the United States sometime early next week. Now I want to show you some different models that I pulled up today. This is the GFS model, and as you can see, looks like we're about to get a 1-2 punch, maybe a 1-2-3 punch from the Atlantic over the next few days. Now you'll notice located right here, this is a closed low, possibly a tropical depression located off the east coast. Now this was actually developed out of an old frontal boundary that was set up over Florida, and as you can see, this has moved on out to sea, and this could possibly be Franklin here. We'll just have to see. And then as you can see, this wave train that I've been talking about coming off Africa, these are the two waves that's currently, this is 92, I guess this would be 92L here, and then this would be the wave that's coming off Africa behind it. So as you can see, both the GFS develops both of these systems as well as this one over the next several days. Now if you look at the next GFS run, you can see this would be what was left of the system that developed off of the southeast coast. This would be Franklin if it develops. This would be Gert, and this would be, I believe, Harvey, if I'm not mistaken, the H name. I think it's Harvey. So you see this one actually getting fairly close to the United States coastline before recurving, and then this system actually starting to impact the Lesser Antilles Islands, possibly making it into the Caribbean. So as you can see, this ridging is setting up a little bit better. This Bermuda high is actually nosing in a little faster and forcing this a little closer to the southeast coast than some of the models are indicating right now, possibly bringing this one in even closer, perhaps even bringing it into the Caribbean. The next view we see here, this is on out. This is valid for 348 hours out, and as you can see, the other storms have made it out of the picture. But this, what we see right here, is a very dangerous situation setting up for the United States. As we can see, the high pressure system setting up over the eastern United States, and this Bermuda high actually ridging very, very far into the southeast coast. So as you can see, this sets up for a tropical storm to actually move on into the Gulf of Mexico, or at least into the Caribbean. Coming up, if we had anything to develop under this type of ridging, this definitely sets up and opens the door for the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean over the next few weeks. So if this ridging ends up turning out to be true, definitely United States coastline needs to watch out. I'll also show you, this is another model that's in agreement with that. This is the GGEM model, and as you can see, this one actually shows not a closed low pressure system, but a 1011 millibar low pressure system setting up under this very, very large, very strong high pressure system. And as you can see, if this current ridging were to take place, this would keep on moving underneath the high, possibly into the Gulf of Mexico. So definitely everyone needs to start paying attention as the African wave train looks like it's about to get rolling in full force. Like I said earlier, probably a 1, 2, 3 punch coming up, and as these waves roll off, we could just get system after system to be named, possibly starting out recurving out to sea. But as this ridging, it looks like this ridging is going to build in, we'll see these tracks come further and further west and start impacting the United States, as we've been talking about this past year. This is also another GFS long-term model, and as you can see, this also is in agreement with that pattern I was talking about, with this high pressure ridge setting up over the Atlantic and forcing whatever, this is actually a closed low here, forcing these systems in a more westerly fashion, possibly into the Gulf of Mexico or into the Caribbean, or impacting the southeast coast of the United States. So in essence, believe we do need to pay close attention to what's going on. This first 92L here is possibly opening the door for these other wave or two coming off of Africa. It should moisten this environment at the very least, and kick this dry air in the teeth basically as it moves on off. And I foresee this first wave possibly getting recurved, possibly impacting Bermuda, and possibly impacting the southeast coast. But I believe after that you'll start seeing these tracks a little bit farther to the west, as this high pressure system that seems to want to persist and this ridging build into the north. So we definitely need to keep an eye on it. We're just now entering the peak of the season. I believe the peak of the season is somewhere around September the 10th. So we are about a month away from the peak of the season. So we're about to see things really start to heat up. Water temperatures are extremely warm in this area of the world, especially when you get past about 50 west. The water temperatures in this area in the southwest Atlantic, in the Caribbean, and the Gulf of Mexico is extremely warm. So let's everyone keep vigilant, and we'll keep updating this as the 92L starts to develop, and whatever's going to come after 92L will be 93L will be next, and we'll see if we start getting these storms named over the next few days as they start moving to the west and west-northwest. So everyone keep checking back. Once again, this is Jeremy at ExtremeWeatherTracker.com. Hope everyone has a great evening, and I'll see you all again soon.